Did you know that in one royal family, it's a tradition for the monarch to weigh their guests before and after Christmas dinner? Or that another royal family keeps the royal names same as the previous royals? These regal yet bizarre traditions will leave you questioning the very nature of royalty itself. Therefore, in today's video, we're talking about 12 of the most bizarre and unbelievable traditions followed by the royal families around the world. So, without further ado, let's get into it. At number 12, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the Belgian royal family. This tradition of the Belgian royals, known as the godfather of the seventh son, is a bizarre and culturally significant practice that involves the reigning monarch becoming the godparent of the seventh child born in a family, specifically when that child is the seventh consecutive son or daughter. According to the royal forums in Belgium, it's customary for the king and queen to become the godparents of the seventh son or seventh daughter born in a family, provided that this succession of children is unbroken. This means that all 7 children must be of the same gender and born to the same parents. This tradition symbolizes good fortune and royal favor. Being chosen as the godchild of the king or queen is considered a significant honor, reflecting a connection to the monarchy and an acknowledgement of the family's status. The practice has historical roots in various European customs that attribute special significance to the seventh child, often associating them with luck or destiny. The tradition in Belgium emphasizes royal patronage and support for families, particularly those with large numbers of children. However, to those unfamiliar with this tradition, it seems as bizarre that the monarch would take on such a personal role as a godparent based on the birth order of children. At number 11, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the Greek royal family. This tradition of slapping the groom during Greek royal family wedding ceremonies is bizarre and memorable as a practice that adds an element of surprise, let's say, and humor to the festivities. According to Akathimerini, during the wedding ceremony, particularly as the priest leads the couple around the table, it's customary for the priest, or the kumbari, who's the best man, and close friends to slap the groom on the back. This act is often done with considerable force, making it a notable moment in the ceremony. The slap is thought to bring good luck to the couple as they begin their married life. It can also be seen as a display of camaraderie among male friends, emphasizing bonds of friendship and support as the groom transitions into marriage. The slap occurs during significant moments in the ceremony, such as when the priest exchanges crowns or stephana between the couple, symbolizing their union. It adds an unexpected twist to what otherwise might be a solemn occasion. The intensity and style of the slap can vary widely, as you might imagine. Some may choose to do it lightly, while others deliver a more forceful, meaningful hit. This variability contributes to its reputation as an unpredictable element of Greek royal weddings. However, for those unfamiliar with Greek culture, the idea of slapping the groom during his wedding is bizarre, and even, in some places, considered inappropriate. Next, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the British royal family. Every year, the British monarchy conducts a census of swans on the River Thames, which is really bizarre, known as the swan upping. The tradition, which dates back to the 12th century, and involves a series of activities aimed at counting swans, checking their health, and ensuring their conservation. According to SCMP, the swan upping occurs every year during the 3rd week of July. The event typically spans 5 days. The event is led by the King's Swan Marker and involves teams known as swan uppers from the worshipful companies of vintners and dyers. They row traditional skiffs along the Thames from Sunbury to Abingdon. The primary objective here is to count the number of swans, particularly young cygnets, assess their health, and monitor their populations. This includes weighing and measuring the cygnets and checking them for injuries or signs of disease. Historically, the Crown claimed ownership of all unmarked mute swans in open water, a right that has been established to ensure a supply of swans for feast. Over time, this ownership has been shared with 2 livery companies, the vintners and dyers. Today, swans are no longer consumed but are protected as a species under conservation laws. However, many view swan upping as an anachronism, an outdated practice that feels out of place in today's society, focused on animal rights and conservation, making it a bizarre tradition. At number 9, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the Thai royal family. The Thai royal family's tradition regarding haircuts on Wednesdays is a bizarre cultural practice that emphasizes the special status of the royals and their connection to auspicious beliefs. In Thailand, it's considered bad luck to cut hair on Wednesdays. This belief is so strong that many traditional barbershops close on the day, reflecting the cultural respect of this superstition. The tradition is linked to the Thai royal family as it's believed that the king traditionally had his hair cut on Wednesdays. As a result, common people view it as disrespectful to cut their hair on the same day, reinforcing the royal family's special status. The belief surrounding haircuts is rooted in Thai suspicions about auspiciousness. According to the Phuket News, the origins of this belief also stem from agricultural practices in ancient Siam, where Wednesday was associated with farming. The idiom, "don't cut on Wednesdays and don't pull out on Thursdays," reflects the importance of ensuring good luck for crops, which may have extended to personal grooming practices. However, the practice restricts haircuts to a specific day for the royal family, which is bizarre in a modern context where personal grooming is typically a matter of individual choice. The idea that an entire population must adhere to this rule due to royal customs feels antiquated and overly formal. Next, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the Dutch royal family. The Dutch family's tradition of not holding a formal coronation ceremony is a bizarre aspect of their monarchy, reflecting historical, cultural, and constitutional influences. In the Netherlands, the ceremony that marks the ascension of a new monarch is called the inauguration or inhuldiging, rather than a coronation. This event involves the new monarch taking an oath to uphold the constitution and serve the Dutch people. The tradition of foregoing a coronation dates back to 1815, when King William I became the first king of the newly established Kingdom of the Netherlands. The absence of a formal crowning ceremony was partly due to religious considerations, since the Dutch are predominantly Protestant and did not have a state church. There was no cleric available to perform the coronation at that time. And according to Times Colonist, the inauguration takes place at the Nieuwe Kerk, or the New Church in Amsterdam, where both houses of the States General or the Dutch Parliament convene for the event. Although regalia such as the crown orb and scepter are present during the ceremony, they are not physically bestowed upon or worn by the monarch. Instead, these items are displayed on a table beside the monarch as symbols of authority without being directly conferred. The lack of formal coronation is seen as bizarre because it contrasts sharply with other monarchies where elaborate ceremonies are integral to royal traditions. At number 7, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the British royal family known as the square sandwiches superstition. It is a peculiar tradition within the British royal family that dictates the avoidance of square-shaped sandwiches during meals. This superstition is rooted in the belief that serving pointed-edged food symbolizes an attempt to overthrow the monarchy. According to Marie Claire, the superstition has been passed down through the generations and is said to have originated from a fear of sabotage against the crown. According to former royal chief Graham Newbold, who worked closely with the late Queen Elizabeth II, the royals never consumed square sandwiches because of this long-standing belief. He stated, quote, "Tradition has it that anyone presenting them with pointed-edged food is trying to overthrow the throne of England. Instead of square sandwiches, members of the royal family typically enjoy small, round sandwiches known as jam penny sandwiches. These are made with butter and raspberry jam and are served during afternoon tea, a cherished royal tradition." Newbound noted that he never prepared squared sandwiches for Queen Elizabeth during his tenure, adhering strictly to the superstition. While some speculate that King Charles III may have relaxed this tradition, the royal family's adherence to such bizarre traditions highlights how entrenched customs can influence contemporary practices. The notion that a simple sandwich shape could have political ramifications underscores the bizarre nature of royal traditions. Next, we got the bizarre tradition followed by the Moroccan royal family known as the hand kissing in Morocco. Particularly within the context of the Moroccan family, it's bizarre and culturally significant as a practice. It involves subjects kissing the king's hand as a sign of respect and royalty. In Morocco, it's customary for subjects to kiss the hands of the members of the royal family as a gesture of respect and submission. This act symbolizes loyalty to the monarchy and acknowledges the royal family's elevated status within Moroccan society. Hand kissing is deeply rooted in Moroccan culture and reflects broader Arab and Middle Eastern customs where such gestures are common. It serves as a way to honor authority figures and express reverence. The practice has historical significance as well, as it reinforces the authority of the monarchy. Kissing the king's hand is seen as an acknowledgement of this role as both political leader and a spiritual figure in Moroccan society. Despite modern influences and calls for reform, hand kissing remains a symbol of continuity in Moroccan royal customs, representing a connection to historic practices that have persisted over generations. This practice is considered bizarre by some, for those unfamiliar with its cultural context. For many outside Morocco, the idea that subjects kiss a royal's hand seems archaic or overly formal, especially in societies that prioritize egalitarian values. According to Scroll, Crown Prince Moulay Hassan tried to change this bizarre tradition to mixed results. At number 5, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the Portuguese royal family. The Portuguese royal family's tradition of incorporating superstitions into their ceremonies, particularly the belief that gatherings should not have an odd number of attendees, is a bizarre aspect of their cultural heritage. This practice reflects deep-rooted beliefs that luck and fate influence how events are organized, including weddings and public gatherings. According to a Reddit post in Portuguese culture, it's widely believed that having an odd number of people at a gathering can bring bad luck to one of the attendees. This superstition is taken seriously, influencing the planning and organization of various events. The belief has led to specific practices during royal ceremonies and public events where organizers ensure that the number of participants is even always. This adherence to superstition reflects a broader cultural respect for traditional beliefs and practices in the land. Throughout history, Portuguese royal ceremonies have been influenced by various superstitions, including the odd number rule. These beliefs were often intertwined with the monarchy's rituals, emphasizing the importance of auspiciousness in royal affairs. The superstition has roots in ancient beliefs about balance and harmony. An odd number of attendees was thought to disrupt this balance, leading to negative consequences for those involved. And as such, event planners would carefully count guests to avoid any misfortune. Naturally, for outsiders, this practice appears bizarre when viewed through a modern lens. Next, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the Danish royal family. The Danish royal family's tradition of jumping into the new year is a lighthearted but bizarre way to celebrate the tradition of transitioning to a new year. This custom, embraced by many Danes, including the members of the royal family, involves jumping off a chair or sofa at midnight on New Year's Eve. The act takes place precisely at midnight on New Year's Eve, coinciding with the arrival of the new year. And jumping off the chair symbolizes, quote, jumping into the new year, which is believed to bring good luck and prosperity for the entire year ahead. It represents a fresh start and a way to leave behind difficulties from the past years. Members of the Danish royal family, including King Frederick and Queen Mary, partake in this bizarre tradition, showcasing their connection to Danish culture and its customs. The act of jumping is part of a broader celebration that includes various festivities leading up to midnight. These often involve gathering with family and friends, enjoying traditional foods, and participating in other customs such as watching the King's Speech and viewing popular television sketch Dinner for One. However, according to EU helpers, this practice, which involves leaping into the air, appears bizarre to those unfamiliar with it or unexpected, and it contrasts sharply with more typical New Year's celebrations that involve toasting or fireworks without the physical leaps. At number 3, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the Hanover royal family. The Hanoverian royal family has a unique tradition where members and guests are weighed both before and after Christmas dinner. This ritual is intended to gauge how much the guests enjoy their meal, with an increase in weight seen as a sign that they indulge thoroughly in the festival feast. According to Mirror, this bizarre custom dates back to King Edward VII, who initiated it in the early 1900s. The tradition was designed to ensure that guests had enjoyed their meals and to reflect the royal family's commitment to hospitality. The practice reflects a broader cultural attitude towards feasting and celebrating, particularly during Christmas when indulging in food is common. It adds a bizarre element to the otherwise former royal gatherings. Reports suggest that this wedding is done using antique scales, which adds a historical charm to the ritual at the same time. The scales have become a symbol of this quirky tradition, linking the past and present practices within the royal household. For many, the idea of weighing oneself before and after a meal is bizarre enough or overly theatrical. It contrasts sharply with modern dining customs, where such practices are uncommon. to say the least, and might be considered intrusive or unnecessary. Despite its oddity, this tradition is generally viewed with humor and affection by those familiar with it. Next, we've got the bizarre tradition followed by the Danish royal family, the tradition of consuming gammel dansk, a bitter herbal liquor, during breakfast by some members of the royal Danish family. It's unique and somewhat bizarre as a practice. Gammel dansk, which translates to Old Danish, is a traditional Danish herbal liquor known for its distinctive bitter taste. It's made from a complex blend of 29 herb spices and a flour, although the exact recipe remains a closely guarded secret. Originally developed by Danish distiller Jorgen Pernhard Jensen, it was intended as a high-quality herbal liquor that could compete with other European bitters. Historically, Gammel dansk was consumed as a medicinal tonic. Many Danes believed it possessed various health benefits, including aiding digestion and curing common ailments. According to Culinary Creations, this belief contributes to its inclusion in breakfast routines, where it's thought to provide a sort of morning boost. It's reported that some members of the Danish royal family enjoy drinking gammel dansk with their breakfast. This practice is not limited to just the royals. Many Danes incorporate it into their morning meals, particularly during special occasions or celebrations. However, for those unfamiliar with the Danish set of customs, the idea of starting one's day with bitter liquor is bizarre and excessive. However, within the context of Danish culture, it's viewed as an enjoyable and accepted practice that adds flavor to the breakfast routine. And at number 1, we've got the bizarre tradition, followed by the Swedish royal family. The royal family follows a bizarre naming practice, which often leads to repetition of names across generations. This practice, rooted in the broader Swedish naming custom, which include patronymic systems and the honoring of ancestors. According to Family Search, traditionally, Swedish names have often been influenced by a system where children are named after their fathers. This system was prevalent among the general population and involved adding suffixes like son for males and daughter for females to the father's name. For example, if the father's named Lars and had a son named Hans, the son would be known as Hans Larsson, the son of Lars. However, in the context of nobility and royalty, names are frequently chosen to honor previous monarchs or significant historical figures. This practice not only preserves family legacies, but also emphasizes continuity within the royal lineage. For instance, King Carl XVI Gustaf's full name includes multiple historical references: Carl XVI Gustaf Folk Hubertus. That said, the tradition of naming children after previous monarchs or significant historical figures often led to multiple individuals in the royal lineage sharing the same name. This often creates confusion and a lack of distinct identity among royal family members, as seen with names like Carl or Gustaf being reused frequently throughout history. And with this, we wrap this video. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you find our channel interesting, then subscribe to it. Thank you. See you in the next video.